always worked to be very competitive from a pricing perspective and leveraging our strong portfolio. I'm very proud in this first quarter, we grew 2 points of market share. So we're going to continue to leverage our strong products across Cadillac, GMC, Buick, and Chevrolet, and we will be competitive in the marketplace. But right now, as we look going forward, we think the pricing environment is going to be much where it is right now.
General Motors is facing losses of up to $5 billion. And more than 50,000 jobs in the U.S. auto industry are at risk. But are tariffs really the main culprit? Tariffs, a double-edged sword cutting deep into GM's costs. Tariffs of 25% slapped on imported auto parts were supposed to be a win for American jobs. Instead, GM is staring down a multi-billion-dollar loss. Take the Chevy Silverado, assembled on U.S. soil, yet burdened with an extra $3,200 to $3,600 in costs. These added costs forced GM to raise prices, putting pressure on consumers already juggling budgets. This ripple effect forces GM to rethink production, pricing, and competitiveness, all under the shadow of these hefty tariffs. Production disruptions, layoffs tied more to demand than tariffs. You might think tariffs alone are firing workers, but the reality is more nuanced. GM's factories, Factory Zero in Detroit, Cami Assembly in Canada, are slowing output, mainly because people aren't buying as many vehicles, especially electric ones. Despite nearly doubling EV sales to 31,000 units in early 2025, GM missed the 100,000 unit break-even target. This shortfall causes temporary layoffs. About 200 workers at Factory Zero, over 400 at Adient's Tennessee plant. While tariffs add pressure, it's the interplay of soft demand and company restructuring that's driving production changes. So it's not all tariff fault. It's a cocktail of market realities shaking the industry. Electric vehicles, green dreams collide with rising costs. The electric revolution promises a cleaner future, but the road is bumpy. Tariffs on key battery materials like lithium and cobalt have boosted Ultium battery costs by 10 to 15%. That's roughly an extra $1,200 per EV. Combine this with shrinking government tax credits, and suddenly GM's EVs get pricier and less competitive. The company's goal of selling 100,000 EVs to break even now looks distant, with projections closer to 65,000. This means GM is racing against rising production costs and softening incentives. Workers and unions, caught in a tug of war. The tariffs have stirred up tension among the workforce. Some workers rally behind protectionism, hoping tariffs shield their jobs. Others worry that rising costs and unpredictable hours mean less take-home pay. The United Auto Workers Union calls for defending American labor, but unions in Canada and elsewhere warn about fractured solidarity. This division isn't just about dollars, it's about trust, morale, and future bargaining power. Facing unstable schedules and shrinking paychecks, workers are caught between hope and frustration. How they navigate this struggle will shape labor negotiations and maybe the very future of manufacturing in North America. Ripple effects. When one link breaks, the whole chain wobbles. GM isn't alone in feeling the squeeze. Other giants like Stellantis, Volvo, and Hyundai grapple with similar pressures. Supply chains, already delicate, face disruptions that ripple globally. Consider a customs error in Ontario that cost a supplier $1.2 million in just 1 week. Freight costs have jumped nearly 20% since early 2025, squeezing margins even tighter. It only takes one glitch to halt an entire assembly line, causing layoffs and economic fallout beyond the factory floor. GM's future, navigating hope through uncertainty. GM plans to ramp production back up by mid-2025, aiming for 65,000 Ultium EV sales. But success depends on flexible tariffs and a smoother supply chain. If these don't materialize, production delays, low worker morale, and financial strain will persist. The future of GM and the broader American auto industry relies on managing these tangled challenges